Jujutsu Kaisen fans pride themselves over the diverse, intricate, and somewhat convoluted power system of this battle shonen. But is that really the case? Is the cursed energy power system really better than quirks, breathing styles, chakra, or haki and devil fruits? Well, let's talk about it. In this video, we're going to go over everything there is to know about Jujutsu Kaisen's power system. The latest chapter at the time of writing of this script for the video is chapter 248. So keep in mind that this information can still change. After all, Sukuna's curse technique is still unknown. My name is TK. Now let's get into some anime. Why is Sukuna's curse technique still unknown? What's exactly going on here? Isn't it Cleave and Dismantle supposed to be his curse techniques? Well, yes, but actually no. To understand what goes on in Jujutsu Kaisen, we'll have to first understand cursed energy. Now, as we already know, cursed energy is created from powerful negative emotions. As for its nature, Gojo compares it to electricity in the sense that it is too erratic to be used in its natural state. For example, take Eneru from One Piece as an example. If he doesn't properly harness the electricity, he can't use it in coherence with his observation haki, which means he wouldn't have been able to monitor everyone on the Sky Island like he did. Though of course, if he just lets go, the electricity would be irregular and explosive. The same exact concept with cursed energy. While raw cursed energy can still be used as a blunt force, you'd ultimately have to find a proper outlet. To give you a more proper example, let's go with Gojo's explanation. He compares cursed techniques to electrical appliances. Just like how electronics can't run without electricity, it's the same with cursed energy. You need it to fuel cursed techniques. But you can't just pump it either. You need to develop a sense and understanding of it, which is similar to how the electric input for a fridge would differ to that of an electric car, right? In chapter 200 of the manga, Kenjaku is speaking with the American Congress about using cursed energy as a replacement for any other form of energy. This is worth noting because yes, cursed energy can indeed replace alternatives like non-renewable energy from fossil fuels or even renewable energy like solar, wind, or geothermal power. Congress thinks that cursed energy can replace all of them as the cleanest form of energy. They also mention that Gojo could power up an entire country all by himself. So while Gojo compares cursed energy to electricity, Kenjaku is later out there selling it to Washington, D.C. And earlier in the same chapter, we're of course talking about chapter 200, Kenjaku explains the Jujutsu Kaisen power system in simpler terms that even politicians can understand. It's actually very simple. The stress from negative emotions in the world produces a cursed energy. Cursed energy is always leaking out, even if only in small amounts. And when it builds up somewhere, it creates a kind of demon or monster called a cursed spirit. Take the disaster level cursed spirits for example. 3 of them, Jogo, Hanami, and Dagon, were created from humanity's collective fear of natural disasters, such as fire-related, land-related, or water-related disasters, respectively. Mahito is also in the same bracket as them, but unlike them, he was born from humanity's collective hatred for each other. So yeah, if there is a way to use hatred as an energy source, I'm all for it. But let's just not justify any more wars. Going back to Kenjaku's explanation of cursed energy, he further simplifies it by adding that those who control this energy are sorcerers. So that is cursed energy, but what is reversed cursed energy? Do you know what happens when you multiply 2 negatives together? You get a positive. That is basically what reverse cursed energy is. It's raw positive energy. And as we've seen with the reverse cursed technique, this reverse cursed energy can be used to heal humans. That's how Gojo was able to revive himself after getting brutally impaled and butchered by Toji. And that's also how Yuta was able to bring Yuji back to life a mere moment after killing him. It is not something just anybody can learn to do though. Before Gojo fought Toji, he couldn't figure it out even with Shoko's explanations. And in the latest chapter, Sukuna was actually impressed by the fact that Yuji was able to learn it in just 1 month's time. We all know how much Sukuna loves clowning on Yuji, so the mere idea that he acknowledges Yuji is saying something. Though to add a little more about reverse cursed energy, we have Gojo's curse technique reversal. This is interesting because when Gojo uses red, he is basically just applying reverse curse energy to his innate technique, which is blue. This is also how he brings out infinity. He does it by fueling his limitless with reverse cursed energy. And it's not just Gojo who can use curse technique reversal. Remember when Kenjaku intensified the gravitational pull around him to counter Yuki? He was using curse technique reversal on Itadori Kaori's anti-gravity system. Going back to curse energy, we're now going to talk about curse techniques. This is where the diversity of Jujutsu Kaisen's power system truly shines, because while every sorcerer or curse spirit have their own innate curse techniques, there's also curse energy martial arts stuff like Yuji's Divergent Fist or the good old Black Flash. Not to mention stuff like cursed tools and objects which are imbued with cursed energy. Of course, there are also binding vows and heavenly restrictions which are just as relevant as well, but we'll talk about them after understanding curse techniques. Since Gojo has been talked about enough times already, we're going to use Sukuna as an example. Again, we don't know what his curse technique actually is. It is definitely something special though, otherwise what's the point of keeping it hidden from us for so long? Although, if we're talking about the application of his curse technique, we have Cleave and Dismantle, and we have Fire-based attacks. These cutting and flaming abilities almost make it sound as if Sukuna is a cook, which, as many would agree, he is. Which then brings us to Malevolent Malevolent Shrine. But first we have to understand domain expansions and their relationship with cursed energy. You see, a domain expansion is essentially a user creating a dimension made of their innate cursed energy. Yes, that sounds silly, but that's basically it. Though a better way to phrase it would be to say that a domain expansion is a user creating a domain cloaked in a barrier that is infused with their cursed energy. It is considered the very pinnacle of Jujutsu, and rightfully so, because creating your domain requires a level of understanding of your technique that most sorcerers cannot even comprehend. So if a sorcerer cannot use their domain expansion, it is not as much of an experience issue as it is a skill issue. Take Higurama for example. He only took 12 days before fluent enough in the understanding of his own cursed energy that he could use his domain expansion. This does sound odd though, after all. Nanami, Todo, and even Kashimo never showed us a domain expansion. On the other hand, there is Sukuna. He cannot only use his domain expansion, he also far outclasses everyone else's domain, including Gojo's Unlimited Void. As the narrator himself said in chapter 119, Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine is different from other domains in that it doesn't create a separate space using a barrier. The narrator further adds that the ability to realize one's innate domain without using a barrier is akin to an artist painting a masterpiece not on a canvas, but on thin air. To sum it all up, the most effective way for someone to use cursed energy is by using it for their own innate curse technique, and those who have a fluent enough understanding of their own curse technique can quite literally create a dimension based on it, or in Sukuna's case, just impose it on the real world. By the way, time for a quick fact. Let me tell you that if you do say Malevolent Kitchen unironically, you won't be wrong, because the Japanese name of Sukuna's domain expansion can also be roughly translated to kitchen. Anyway, Sukuna is just one example. Kashimo's curse technique is electromagnetism. Geito's is cursed spirit manipulation. Kenjaku showed us that Yuji's mother had an innate technique that could negate gravity itself. We also have inherited curse techniques like the blood manipulation of the Kamo clan, Six Eyes and the Limitless of the Gojo clan, cursed speech of the Inumaki family, and of course 10 Shadows of the Zenin clan. The only difference between these and normal curse technique is that they are continuously inherited in the same family. That's it. And just because you inherited a great technique doesn't make you great. Gojo is not the only user of the Limitless and Six Eyes, but he is definitely the strongest one that they've ever seen. I mean, the last one died from Mahoraga, while our Gojo can just one-shot Mahoraga. Another thing to note here is how you can actually create new variations of your own curse technique. Nobata's Resonance and Nanami's Collapse were entirely their own original creations, derived from their curse techniques, and it doesn't stop there. If we take it further, we get things like maximum output. Take Gojo's 200% output Hollow Purple for example. It is an example of reaching the maximum output of your curse technique. Basically just a term for realizing the maximum output. Apparently we have a similar term for techniques themselves, like how Geito's Uzumaki is called his maximum technique. It's not like it doesn't make sense though. After all, Uzumaki combines a massive number of collective curses in the form of one powerful attack. That's what Geito did against Yuta. He combined over 4,000 curses to form one all-powerful attack. That's maximum, alright? Alright, so far we've talked about cursed energy, reverse cursed technique, innate curse techniques, domain expansion, maximum output, and maximum technique. Also, the cursed energy martial arts like Divergent Fist and Black Flash. To add on to this, these physical attacks are something anyone with cursed energy can do. Take Black Flash for example. Yes, it requires a high enough concentration, but there is no limit on who can perform it. As long as you can apply your cursed energy to your attack for 1/1,000,000th of a second, you will create the Black Flash phenomenon and just greatly amplify your strike. Another thing that just about any sorcerer can perform are simple domains. These are your traditional anti-domain techniques that are about creating a cute little barrier around yourself to counter your opponent's domain expansion. There's variety when it comes to this as well. Like domain amplification, it is used to nullify incoming cursed energy attacks from your opponents. And there's also a secret art based on simple domain. It's called Falling Blossom Emotion, and we saw Gojo use it against Sukuna's Malevolent Kitchen during their fight. It is a secret art of the big three families, and in this case, the user actually tries to counter their opponent's domain with cursed energy instead of just a barrier. I'm sure we'll get more things from the story in the future, but for now, this is basically the gist of the Jujutsu Kaisen power system. Now, we also have the Binding Vows and Heavenly Restriction, which in my opinion, the perfect representation of how deeply thought out and intricate the power system is. Cursed energy itself is a sentient entity, but you can apparently form a pact with it. This also explains Tengen's necessary existence in the Jujutsu Society and how his presence helps in maintaining the flow of cursed energy. Though, from the looks of it, the story keeps heading towards a dystopian scenario. But what about Heavenly Restriction? The two notable cases of Heavenly Restriction are Kokichi and the Zenin clan. In Kokichi's case, it is very much a curse because although he gets unholy amounts of cursed energy, which allows him to basically use remote-controlled puppets, it does come at the cost of unimaginable physical impairments. Kokichi cannot exist without needles and tubes. However, when it comes to the Zenin clan, we're treated with a glitch in the system. In a world where even ordinary humans have cursed energy, what would happen if someone had literally zero cursed energy? That's Toji and Maki. They do not have cursed energy at all, which allows them to get around many rules for cursed energy users, and not having cursed energy also blows their physical abilities out of proportion. Unlike Kokichi's case, this is an exchange worth considering. It's like Asa from Black Clover, but I don't know. I have nothing against Black Clover, but Heavenly Restriction just sounds more clever both in its name and in its execution. What do you guys think? This will be all for today's video. We have unraveled all the intricacies and application of Jujutsu Kaisen's power system, so let me know what you guys think. Do you like this power system? Or do you find it somewhat confusing as most fans do? Come on, we're going to continue this conversation in the comment section down below. Definitely let me know if you like a follow-up video on any other particular aspect of the Jujutsu Kaisen power system, because why not? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and dine in at Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine. Alright, I'll see you guys on the next video. Again, my name is TK, loving us some anime. Bankai, Senbon Zakura, Kageyoshi.